The show that I attended was called Chicago's Best Stand-Up. Chicago's Best Stand-Up was hosted by Laugh Factory. Laugh Factory is currently located near Broadway, Illinois, very close to Chicago's downtown. Now, Laugh Factory had a guest speaker by the name of Ali Drapos. Ali Drapos was very confident as soon as she stepped foot on the stage. She made sure to bring everybody in and to make sure to interact with all the audience members. She started off by making some jokes to ending it off with a personal joke, which had the people off their seats laughing. What I realized about each and one of those single individual speakers were the fact that all of them had their own personality. Now, all of them I felt like were well prepared also when it came to their part. Now, I feel like they are well prepared due to the fact that I didn't see not one single no card get pulled out throughout the whole night. Now, that just shows and tells all of us audience members that these people are well prepared and they know what they're saying. Now, also what I also like was the fact that all those guest speakers were strong when it came to hand gestures and body movement. They made sure to use their hands all over and also as well as use the floor to move around and get around. And on top of that, they made sure to use eye contact. Now, eye contact is very important when it comes to speeches. Eye contact is important due to the fact that it makes it much easier for you to get your point across to whoever you're speaking to. Now, something that I feel like made a difference throughout the show was the fact that they had a very uplifting tone. The fact that they had an uplifting tone had me and my friends out our seat the whole night. A guest speaker in which who I liked listening to all night goes by the name of Maurice Shawn. Maurice Shawn was very interesting and had all my buddies laughing the whole show. He was very interested and different compared to others due to the fact that Maurice Shawn made some inappropriate and funny jokes which had the whole crowd laughing. Now, all the guest speakers were very funny, but the fact that Maurice was different in the way that how he approached his audience made the performance much better and funnier for all of us. I believe that the purpose was to see public speakers and see how they publicly speak out in real life. I feel like this gives us an idea as speakers to look at public speakers and see how they perform their craft so that we could better ourselves and so that we could improve as speakers ourselves too. Now, what I found quite interesting was the fact that before a guest speaker had gone up, I had a table with two of my friends. And what I realized to my right side was that there was a guest speaker about to go up on stage, about to do his set. And the fact that I looked over and he was breathing very hard, I was very confused from the start, and me, being very nosy, I look over to my right and I see that he's breathing very heavily before going up on stage on the very side. So I instantly thought to myself, oh, he's doing some breathing exercises before he goes up and does his set. Now, I find that quite interesting just due to the fact that Nikki had brought that up in class for us, and she had mentioned herself how breathing exercises are key to public speaking and is highly suggested by many people due to the fact that it helps you relax and to get your speech across without messing up. One thing that I would change about Laugh Factory is the fact that I feel like the comedians could have had longer sets, but I feel like the only reason why they didn't was due to the fact that there were too many comedians there, and I feel like they had to get all the comedians across by the end of the certain end time. But overall though, I did make sure to keep a close eye on the public speakers when it comes to their speeches. Like for example, I made sure to look at their timing and pacing, and I did notice that their timing and pacing was on point, and every word they said it went perfect with what they were saying. But overall, I did have a blast. I don't think I'd ever be at a comedy show in my life if it wasn't for this assignment, if I gotta be honest. But I'm glad this was my first, and I'll definitely be going back soon, just because of the fact that my friends had already texted me that they want to go back soon. So we'll definitely be going back soon. Thank you for the experience, but overall, it was very fun. I liked it, and I'll definitely be going back to this comedy show at Laugh Factory. For my second event, I chose to pick Disney's Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin is a play in which took place in the city of Chicago. Now, I watched that play online due to the fact that that play was here about 2 weeks ago, and it was quite recent, so I decided to watch Disney's Aladdin. Now, Disney's Aladdin, what I realized about it was the fact that the first speaker's job was basically to introduce what the play was going to be about and basically bringing everybody in and basically getting everyone involved and prepared for the show. Now, I also believe that Disney's Aladdin crew and cast was more talkative and more comfortable when it came to their talking due to the fact that you could tell by the way that they speak and the way that they interact with each other. Now, I also feel like Disney's Aladdin was quite better than Laugh Factory just due to the fact that it looked more normal and the fact that they had more facial and body expressions more than Laugh Factory, but overall both shows were great. So basically, Aladdin was about a street urchin who meets a princess. Now, both of them run into issues when it comes to the evil sorcerer. Now, what I also realized about each and individual speaker during the play was the fact that they were all very calm and collected. But on top of that, one person in whom stood out for me was the person playing Aladdin. Now, that person stood out to me due to the fact that you could tell right away he practiced a lot. And obviously, having the most important role is very important when it comes to these plays. Now, he looked like he was very prepared and he knew what he was saying. And on top of that, I feel like he was the one with the most confidence, and tone of voice was next level. His tone of voice was very loud and clear, which made it much easier for all of us to understand and to get across. But overall, he was one of the best actors throughout this whole play, and he stood out to me just due to the fact that he was amazing. They were all well prepared, and not that I see a single note throughout the whole show. Now, what I realized about their speaking style was the fact that they had a very uplifting tone, and on top of that, they were very positive when it came to their speaking. Now, this show was by far one of the best plays that I ever, watched, and this was the most interesting for sure. Now, this was by far one of the most interesting plays that I ever watched due to the fact that their hand gestures and, their body movement was on point. Now, that was so on point to the fact that the play looked to the point that it was real. So that was very spot on and everything. And especially what caught my attention was the fact that the play had used visuals. Like, for example, when it came to animals throughout the play, they made sure to use props to showcase their part in the play, which made it quite understandable for us audience to, understand and get a feeling for what we are looking at. Not even just that, I feel like Aladdin was very spot on when it came to the eye contact. The eye contact was very on point, and I feel like they made sure to keep their eye on the audience at all times throughout the whole show. Now, I feel like this play was by far one of the best plays that I've seen, and I feel like this was well composed, and I also feel like this was well prepared as well. And one thing that caught my attention that I liked about this play was due to the fact that I realized that they played like music between each scene of Aladdin. So I feel like that little bit of music gave us a better visual and gave us a better understanding, which made it more enjoyable for us to understand and to get when trying to, watch the play. So I feel like that little bit of music did help us audience members, and also on top of that made it quite enjoyable for us to view on top of that. But overall, though, I feel like Aladdin was well composed and I enjoyed the music because at the end of the day, who doesn't love music, right? But overall, Aladdin was an amazing show. It was an amazing show due to the fact that I got to view different types of speakers do what they do best, which is public speaking. Now, that gives me an opportunity as a speaker to look at what they're doing and better my craft when it comes to speaking. Now, what I liked about this was due to the fact that things in this play were relating to things that we learned in class. Like, for example, they were taking up the whole space when they were up on the stage, and they were using all the resources that they were given. And that is relating back to our class, because due to the fact that we talked about that as well, and we talked about taking up space is key. And on top of that, you also told us about how we have to take up all the resources given to us, and that's exactly what they did. Now, this was quite interesting also due to the fact that this was by far one of the most interesting plays that I watched, and one of the plays that I watched completely. And this by far after today ain't gonna be the last play, because I enjoyed it a lot, and I'll definitely be checking in anytime soon that I can. Now, public speaking, the class that everybody hates. This year was one hell of a ride. Now, one thing that I liked about public speaking this year was the fact that it got me out my shell. It got me out my shell due to the fact that I'm a very antisocial and shy person when it comes to speaking to others or publicly speaking. Now, public speaking has brought nothing but anxiety to me. But with that anxiety, it helped for me to improve as a speaker and to better myself when it comes to publicly speaking. One thing that I liked about this school year was the fact that from the start of the school year, we were very, very, very shy with each other when it came to us classmates and the teacher as well. We were very much quiet and very awkward. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't know each other. We'd be very, very, very self to each other and all that. And what I liked about that was the fact that at the end of the day, we all talked to each other like we had met each other for years. And I feel like being comfortable around your peers, especially in the classroom, is key, because it allows for you to have confidence in yourself and give others that confidence that they need to, better their craft, especially when it comes to inside of a classroom. Something that I learned that surprised me this year was the fact that anyone could do it. Anyone can do it, and anyone is capable of becoming an excellent writer. Now, yeah, it may be difficult. Public speaking may be difficult, but what better way to challenge yourself than challenge yourself to become a better yourself? Now, becoming a better version of yourself is what you're aiming for each and every day. And what better way to do that than pushing yourself to become a better public speaker? Now, on top of that, I don't even think that this class needs any types of changes or things done, because yeah, it might have brought you anxiety, and yeah, you might have shit your pants like I did. But at the end of the day, it is all worth it, and all these stuff that you are learning is useful for the real world. Now, yeah, some of these things that we did in class, I didn't want to do, but I did it, and I'm glad I did it. And for that reason, I'm glad is due to the fact that those exact same reasons and circumstances that I basically spoke about in public speaking are all useful out in the real world. And using those things out in the real world are important in life when it comes to public speaking and talking to others and making connections. At the end, I learned way more than just public speaking. I learned to take responsibility, and I learned to speak up. This class allowed for myself to better my craft and to better myself overall. Now, not even that, it also came with new amazing people that I met along the way. Now, all of us were quite shy from the beginning of the class till the end, but at the end we made progress in ourselves, and we got very comfortable with each other, and we made amazing new friends, in which I am very happy about meeting, because they were all very helpful along the way. And on top of that, I also feel like public speaking was by far one of the most scariest decisions I've made in a long time. But not one bit do I regret taking this class, because without this class, I don't think I would better my public speaking, and I don't think I would be as good as I am now than how I was before. Now, with this class being done, I'm very excited to see what everyone has to come after this class. And I know for a fact that everyone from our classroom is going to do amazing things when it comes to public speaking. And I know things like for myself that I'm gonna use out in the real world that I learned in class that are gonna make things more better and that are gonna benefit me throughout the long run. But overall though, this class was amazing, and I don't think we would be able to do none of this without Nikki. I feel like Nikki was quite helpful when it comes to helping us better ourselves and bettering ourselves as persons. And I feel like with a teacher like Nikki, none of this would be possible. But overall, public speaking was a hell of a class. I really love this class. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass when it comes to, public speaking because I'm a very shy person. But overall, this class was very fun, and I can't wait to see what all these other classmates of mine have going for themselves after this class.